and roaming free. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Springfield, Colorado.
And that's nightly news for this Monday. Thanks for watching. I'm Lester Holt. Please take care of yourself and each other. Good night.
Look how pretty you are.
That's a steal!
I wanted you bad. And when you came in, I was like, oh my God,
Blake.
I'm saying.
It's going down. When I started working at Michaels Corporation, Tim was 9 years old.
Tim worked in the trenches for many years when he first started out in this company.
51 years.
12 years. 20 years.
50 years.
Took a small Wisconsin company to one of the best in America.
Tim is really hardworking.
Very good leader, and he's going to tell you like it is.
Because of Tim Michaels, there are thousands of good-paying jobs in Wisconsin.
Jobs that people are proud of.
I wouldn't hesitate for 1 second to jump in a foxhole with Tim.
Weather Watch 12. Weather from where you live.
Straight ahead on Newswatch 12 at 6, a school district is educating kids about the dangers of drug use. We'll explain how Sugar Camp Elementary's goals for Red Ribbon Week.
Plus, the Darrell Brooks trial is nearing an end. We'll have a recap of what happened in court today.
And a missing Michigan family has been found safe in Wisconsin. We'll have the details as your local news starts right now.
Newswatch 12 with Dan Hagan, Jessica Jukic, and Jeff Weller.
Welcome to Newswatch 12 at 6. I'm Jessica Jukic.
And I'm Dan Hagan. It's the last week of October, and that means it's Red Ribbon Week.
Schools like Sugar Camp Elementary are using this opportunity to make sure they educate kids about drug abuse. Many drugs like pain relievers can help you, but overusing drugs can lead to addiction as well as death. School guidance counselor Kristen Opel says during the week there will be many fun activities to educate students about the dangers.
Yeah, so the student council put together the activities and they put some events together for each day. And today the activity is color tag. So they're going to be playing color tag at their morning recess this morning. And it's broken up into different grade groups, but yeah, it'll be fun.
The school is focusing on several themes, including don't let drugs get in the way of your thinking and don't let drugs capture. School council member Addison Shanick says there's one theme that most students are looking forward to.
The movie day is probably going to be the most fun for kids because they really can just wake up, find a pair of comfy pajamas, and just wear what they want to school instead of like a formal wear, kind of.
Encouraging healthy, safe, and positive behaviors for kids at a young age is the main goal. For more information about Red Ribbon Week, you can visit redribbon.org.
Well, that kid was pretty cute. Oh, my gosh. But let's talk about the weekend, Jeff. We had a wonderful weekend out there.
What a weekend. Temperatures in the 70s. Today we had some rain showers out there. Now a cold front comes through, and that's going to get much colder tomorrow. You ready for that? Let's go outside now, though, and check on the radar. There are some rain showers across our region. Nothing heavy, but any hours tonight into early parts of tomorrow morning. And you know, we could use every drop of this rain as it comes through tonight. It's been very dry around here. But here's the rain now. Parts of Lincoln County back off to the west, all moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So once it starts to rain at your place tonight, it'll likely rain for several more hours. But again, nothing severe. Here's that blob of moisture out there with a cold front just to the west of us now, all moving in this direction. So there's pretty much no way to avoid the rainfall out there tonight. And it's going to be soaking in a few spots, probably a quarter to a half-inch of rain. But again, we could use all of this as it's been very dry around here. Behind that, though, temperatures are going to change. It's 48 in Minneapolis right now. There's the front across western Wisconsin moving this way. So tomorrow, we're going to struggle to get high temperatures out of the 40s tomorrow. Our forecast tonight, though, is cloudy skies, some rain showers out there, nothing heavy with low temperatures down near 45. Your full forecast is coming up. Dan?
Thank you, Jeff. The judge in the case against Darrell Brooks is fed up. You can see him here in court representing himself. Today, the judge said Brooks was, quote, pushing the limits of the court, and she decided he won't be allowed to call additional witnesses at trial, pointing out more than 27 disruptions and outbursts, along with his refusal to answer whether he intended to testify or call more witnesses. She said it was a, quote, tactic to delay, disrupt, and distract. Brooks is facing multiple charges and could get life in prison. Initially, he pled not guilty because of insanity. He rested his case on Monday, and prosecutors have been told to get ready for closing arguments as soon as Tuesday afternoon.
Vandals have struck UW-Madison's campus ahead of a conservative speaker giving a talk at the university. Students and staff awoke Monday morning to find vandalism across campus, posing an impending visit by conservative commentator Matt Walsh. Besides spray-painted words all over campus, Bucky the Badger was also covered in paint, as well as the Memorial Union entrance sign. Walsh is scheduled to speak on campus tonight, followed by a screening of his film, What is a Woman? A UW Police Department spokesperson confirmed the incident is under investigation and had no further comment.
Authorities have identified the 6 people who died in an apartment fire in southern Wisconsin as 2 adults and 4 children. Police say all 6 lived together in one apartment of the 4-unit building in Heartland. The adults who died were Connor McKissick and Jessica McKissick. The children were identified as a 14-year-old girl, a 12-year-old girl, and 2 3-year-old boys. Their names were not released. The cause of Friday's fire has not yet been determined, and an active criminal investigation is underway. 10 people were displaced by the fire, including 2 families of 4 and an adult couple.
Portage County law enforcement say they have identified the man who was found dead in a cornfield. Police were able to identify the victim as 41-year-old Bruce Vasecule of Wisconsin Rapids. Vasecule was last seen on July 31st in Almond, Wisconsin, and was declared missing. Police are still investigating the nature in which he escaped, or he was lost, rather, but it does appear to be an isolated incident. A funeral was held Saturday in Plainfield for Mr. Vasecule. Governor Tony Evers has vetoed more than 100 Republican bills since taking office, but he might not have that veto pen in 2023.
Even if Evers wins in November, state Republicans have their eye on supermajorities in the legislature, and the tipping point seat might be in Stevens Point. Representative Katrina Shankland has held the 71st Assembly District since 2013. Over the years, the Democrat has seen her margin of victory get smaller and smaller. She said having one-party rule would allow for more extreme laws, like keeping in place the 1849 ban on abortions.
That is an extreme law that many people do not support in Wisconsin. And I'm a co-author of a bill to repeal that because the majority of Wisconsinites and the majority of people across the country support access to abortion.
Shankland's facing Republican Scott Soik for the second time. Soik said if he's elected, he would want to keep the abortion ban in place.
I support the law the way it is right now. My door will be open to any conversation for rape and incest.
Republicans would have to flip 5 assembly seats to 1 state Senate seat for supermajorities. Then there would be enough votes to override a veto. The Michigan family who went missing from their Fremont home last Sunday was found in Stevens Point yesterday.
Marissa Oberle has more on the curious case and what caused the family to disappear.
Capitalized and bolded, Fremont police got their message across on Sunday. In a release, Chief Tim Rodwell said around 11 a.m., the department safely located the Sirigliano family in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, a small city 2 hours northwest of Milwaukee.
I just keep praying.
It's the outcome so many people in West Michigan wanted after investigators asked for the public's help earlier this week. According to police, Anthony, Suzette, and their sons, 19-year-old Brandon and 15-year-old Noah, disappeared last Sunday, hours after Anthony made a bizarre call to 911.
It is related to September 11th, and people want to erase me from the face of the earth.
Police say they left behind a family member with dementia who requires full-time care, along with their pets. Throughout the investigation, officials obtained security camera footage which showed the Siriglianos at a gas station in the UP on Monday. They then stayed in Iron Mountain for a few days. It's unknown why the family went there. The department says the family still fears for their safety, but the elements of the investigation do not meet the criteria for protective custody. With the investigation now closed, they thanked everyone who stepped in to help.
Test scores are dropping across the United States.
We'll have a look at what's to blame for the dip in scores. That's after weather with Jeff right here on Newswatch 12.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Northwoods Furniture, Eagle River.
You heard the Jingle Man, Wisconsin. That means it's time to get a versatile, rugged, athletic SUV that makes you feel like you just won a title. Again. Honda was just crowned KBB.com's best value brand for the 7th year in a row. So get up and go to your Wisconsin Heartland Honda dealer today. Honda gets Wisconsin. Bring it home, Songbird.
Defund the Police radical Mandela Barnes isn't just dangerously wrong on crime. Barnes supported raising Wisconsin's gas tax nearly 30%, while we already pay some of the highest gas taxes in the country. Barnes wants to stop all oil and gas production in America, killing jobs and making prices skyrocket. And while Barnes didn't pay his own taxes, he pushed a $1 billion tax increase on Wisconsin families. We can't afford radical Mandela Barnes. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Looking at mattresses?
I'm just looking.
Jump on it, roll on it.
No.
I can see you in it. You got your Firm Plush, Ultra Plush Plus. Just pretend I'm not here. My name is Richard. You have any questions?
Buying a mattress can be uncomfortable.
She seemed nice.
That's why Slumberland has modernized the process, giving you the freedom to have a comfortable experience. Right now, get 30% off select mattresses. Slumberland. Mattress shopping reinvented.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Ron Johnson caught lying. Independent fact checks call his attacks on Mandela Barnes false and misleading. But it's Johnson's views that are alarming. Johnson supported a ban on abortions. He co-sponsored a bill that makes no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And Johnson said if women don't like it, they can move. The truth is, it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
All right, what a weekend. Halloween is a week away. It does not feel like it today or all weekend long, and it will start to feel like it tomorrow a bit more with high temperatures tomorrow back up near 50 after we did this today. Look at this. We're hanging out in the 60s to low 70s across the area today. That is well above average, right? But it's not going to last much longer as we have temperatures hanging out in the 50s tomorrow and also for Wednesday and Thursday. Look what's coming our direction. This is the 24-hour temperature change map. Compared to exactly this time yesterday, we're much colder over here, about the same over here, but that is all moving in our direction. So our lives are about to change a bit with high temperatures tomorrow in the 40s and 50s. And there's just a lot of colder air to go around. You know, it is late October. The cold air typically wins. It's heavier, it's denser. It's going to push all this warm temperatures out of the way, bring in the cooler temperatures from the west, and we are in for a much colder week around here. This is not Arctic air, though. We're not talking about 10 below zero temperatures, probably hanging out near average high being 51 or so. We'll likely get close to that the rest of the week into the weekend. In fact, by Saturday and Sunday, on paper, look what happens here. A slow climb upwards. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we could use 60 again on Saturday with tons of sunshine. Not 70, I know, but here we are getting close to Halloween, which, by the way, is a week from today. Right now, a forecasted high temperature of 57. All right, so lots of wind out there today. Your neighbor's leaves are probably your leaves now. Lots of them are coming down quickly. Less windy tonight and not so windy again tomorrow as all of this is beginning to move out of here. But there's lots of energy in the atmosphere and thus creating some rain showers across parts of western Wisconsin. Now, this is moving in our direction. So once it begins to rain at your house, likely raining for several hours tonight into early parts of tomorrow. The actual low is well over here to the west of us. Some snow across the Dakotas today. There's no snow in our forecast anytime soon, but there could be a couple of light snow flurries in there tomorrow night. So Futurecast shows this area of moisture coming through tonight. Nothing strong, nothing severe. However, there could be a few pockets of heavy rainfall, and we could use all of that, right? All right, so your forecast ends tonight, though, with scattered rain showers out there, breezy and colder, turning colder. So a southwest wind out there now will switch out of the west and then switch out of the northwest as temperatures drop overnight to near 45. For tomorrow, there's not going to be much of a recovery tomorrow. So starting off mostly cloudy, then ending kind of partly cloudy, with high temperatures reaching for 51, which means most of tomorrow spent in the 40s. And then looking ahead, your 7-day forecast by Northwest Furniture and Mattress shows we are in a somewhat cooler environment, right? 51 for tomorrow, also for Wednesday, Thursday 53. What you don't see, though, is more rainfall, right? A dry forecast in the weekend with temperatures hanging out in the 60s by Saturday. Dana and Jessica.
Thanks, Jeff. A majority of economists say a recession is coming within the next year or so. According to the latest survey from the National Association for Business Economics, more than half of corporate economists polled say a recession is coming sometime before the end of 2023. 11% say the U.S. is already in a recession. The findings, which show the economy is slowing as risks are growing, are based on responses from 55 members of that organization I mentioned. Among the biggest concerns, increased interest rates and historically high inflation.
Roughly 10% of Americans over the age of 65 suffer from dementia. The findings are based on close to 3,500 people who were enrolled in a program backed by the National Institute of Aging and the Social Security Administration. The research also showed 22% of those people had mild cognitive impairment with symptoms that include forgetting things and appointments or trouble coming up with the words. Dementia can cause people to show poor judgment and act impulsively. Officials say exercising and eating a healthy diet can help people keep their minds strong and possibly prevent dementia.
Wisconsin has the largest test score gap between black and white students of any state. The nation's report card tracked fourth grade students in math and found white students scored about 37% higher than black students. And in reading, white students scored 22% higher than black students. Meanwhile, in 8th grade math, white students scored 23% higher. Test officials say they could not draw conclusions from the results about how virtual learning impacted district scores. Governor Tony Evers wants to invest $2 billion to boost education funding for the next biennial budget. He wants to focus on literacy, mental health, and staffing shortages. That national report spelled trouble for kids across the U.S.
The pandemic is to blame for the drop in math scores, along with the nationwide teacher shortage and other troubling factors. Chris Wynn has the story.
There's growing concern about the pandemic's impact on America's children as parents and educators pore over the latest results from the nation's report card.
We are on the cusp of losing a generation of our children.
The findings are based on the National Assessment of Educational Progress Reading and Math Exams, which are conducted by the National Center for Education Statistics, a branch of the U.S. Department of Education. The report looks specifically at 4th and 8th grade students and was the first since 2019.
So much of this is socioeconomic. Some districts fared much better than others, and unfortunately, due to zip code, is where you saw kids kind of get lost in the fray.
Afternoon, welcome.
More than 50 states and jurisdictions took part in the assessment, showing the largest decline in math scores since the initial trial in 1990, according to the center's commissioner. In fact, no state or large urban district showed improvements in math, with some decline also showing up in reading scores.
If this is not a wake-up call for us to double down our efforts and improve education, even before it was before the pandemic, then I don't know what will.
Education Secretary Miguel Cardona believes the results are partly a symptom of decades of underinvestment, but says part of the solution is to provide better compensation for teachers.
Let's start honoring the profession, making sure we're paying our professionals a competitive salary, and we're not going to deal with shortages.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
The World Series is now set. We'll tell you how both teams made it to the Fall Classic.
And people are celebrating the return of a traditional race. We'll show you how pumpkins are more than just for jack-o'-lanterns.
See the exceptional selection of jewelry at Golden Carat Jewelers. Artistic handmade jewelry by Michu and Bella Trois. Fashion-forward designs by Mira T. and Frederick Sage. The latest trends and the forever classics from Facet Barcelona, Catan, and more. Your full-service jewelry store in downtown Minocqua, Golden Carat Jewelers has a surprise for everyone.
In the Senate, Ron Johnson pushed tax loopholes benefiting himself and his donors.
Did my business benefit? Sure. Did some of my donor businesses? Sure.
But here's what Johnson's doing to us. He voted to raise the retirement age, and allow cuts to Social Security. Even supports letting Wisconsin ban nearly all abortions and said, if you don't like it, you can move. Ron Johnson works for himself, never us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
When Kenosha burned, Tony Evers fanned the flames. He blamed police.
When we needed help, he refused. For days.
I know.
Because we were there.
Evers puts politics over our lives.
Over your lives.
That's why we support Tim Michaels.
As a veteran, Tim Michaels won't abandon us.
Tim Michaels will have our back.
And stand strong against violent crime.
We're with Tim.
You have dreams. To visit your grandkids. To start a small business. To spend time on the lake. The cost of a good healthcare plan should support those dreams, whatever they may be. They're your dreams. We're just here to help you live them. Aspirus Health Plan, a great plan for your best life.
Change it up and choose Dutch Boy from Menards. Get the best quality Dutch Boy paints at the best prices. Pick out the perfect color. We offer free custom color matching and tinting to create thousands of color options. And with Dutch Boy's easy opening, smooth pouring container, and no prep, no prime formula, transforming your home has never been easier. Save 11% on all Dutch Boy paints now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Bone and Joint Walk-In Care.
This fall's World Series is set. The Philadelphia Phillies will take on the Houston Astros after both clinched their league championship series titles last night. Phillies star Bryce Harper provided an electric moment in the bottom of the 8th with his team trailing the San Diego Padres by a run. With a man on base, Harper cranked this 2-run blast to give to the seats and left to give his team a 4-3 lead. Philadelphia would close out to the Padres in the top of the 9th to win the National League Championship Series 4-1. They will now face Houston in the Fall Classic after the Astros dominated the New York Yankees in the American League Championship Series. The World Series begins this Friday in Houston.
Paddlers jumped in hollowed-out giant pumpkins to take part in relay races across a pond in Belgium this weekend. It's a tradition that's been on hold since the start of the pandemic, but when this year's competition was announced, 65 teams signed up in just 3 days. To win the regatta, teams of 4 had to be first to race around a hut in the middle of the pond in the northern town of Casterly, Belgium. Organizers said the event began as a way of putting the oversized vegetables grown for competitions to good use. The flesh is hollowed out of the giant winter squashes in the morning and turned into soup before the main races, which are split into children's, women's, men's, and mixed competitions. We'll be right back with one final look at your weather.
A governor's job is to make your life better. But would anything on Tim Michaels' agenda actually help you? His rhetoric is violent.
People should just be ready to get out in the streets with pitchforks and torches.
At his company, women say they were pressured to have sex with their bosses. And he said he'd consider abolishing the Department of Public Instruction. It's a radical's dream, but it wouldn't do a single thing for you. Tony Evers' plan is pretty simple. Create good-paying jobs and bring costs down. That's the right plan for Wisconsin.
Saturday, October 29th, the Wisconsin Department of Justice will be holding a free prescription drug take-back event. If you have unused or unwanted medications, ointments, patches, non-aerosol sprays, inhalers, vials, or pet medication, clean out your medicine cabinets. Don't let your old medication fall into the wrong hands by disposing of unused or unwanted medications properly. For more information on locations and accepted items, go to doseofrealitywi.gov. This information is brought to you by the Human Service Center of Vilas, Forest, and Oneida County.
Keeping your family close together in your home these days are important. Let us remodel your kitchen and bath. Kitchen Bath Mart specializes in complete remodels for the past 35 years. From design to install, we'll take good care of you. Stop in or call us today at Kitchen Bath Mart. We're your #1 choice in kitchen and bath remodeling. Highway 70 East in Arborvitae.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
At a company, the culture comes from the top. Under Tim Michaels, court filings say women at his company were harassed and assaulted.
They repeatedly faced unwanted sexual comments. A male superior groped the crotch and inner thigh of a female employee.
Women said they were pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Those who spoke out at Michaels Corp were fired. That's how radical Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
At Eagle Floor Covering in Eagle River, we have a knowledgeable staff, competitive pricing, and free estimates. Browse our selection of carpet, vinyl, wood, and tile for your next home project.
Rain showers. So I don't know if our graphics are working here. There they are. All right, so there are the rain showers and the graphics right now. Once it begins to start raining, it's going to rain for a couple hours tonight, and Paul can change the clock as well. And we have how many seconds left? Okay, 30 seconds left. Good. All right, so rain showers tonight, ending overnight tonight. Tomorrow, much colder, with highs only in the upper 40s to low 50s tomorrow.
That was an entertaining last little
I don't know what just happened.
That was fun.
Thanks, Jeff. That's all the time we have. We'll see you back here at 10.
Mr. Food Test Kitchen is brought to you by Golden Carrot Jewelers and Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio.
We often get requests for desserts that are easy to throw together, but still look company fancy.